Hello, everybody, one and all. Kirby fan here for a Kirby in the Forgotten Land copy ability tier list. I know a lot of what I do on the channel is copy ability spotlights where I talk about this stuff from a speedrunning perspective, but I figured today we would just do an opinion piece, so to speak. There are, with the upgrades, a lot of abilities in this game, to be frank. So I just decided that maybe it would be a little fun to talk about what I think of them personally. This is a personal opinion tier list, so you're bound to disagree. I know I'm going to have a few placements on here that people aren't going to like. There are also some spoiler abilities that are going to be on this list. I'm doing my best to keep them hidden. Those are going to be last. They're not going to be showing up on the list of the unranked abilities. That is not a good sign. The music track that just played in the background. A little worried about that, but this list is also going to be ranked. So everything, it's not only the top, this is number 1 through number very bottom. Mouthful mode abilities aren't going to be included, and this is also not going to be edited. So it's going to be very slapdash, very quickly put together. I'm mostly releasing this now so that I can get my 5K sub-special. I can get a video out while I work on that. Don't worry, it is in the production, in the works, whatever. And lastly, if you enjoy this kind of video or you just enjoy my stuff and you really want to help me out, feel free to give the video a like, a comment. You can ring the notification bell after subscribing. All of those stuff really helps me out, gets the channel more exposure. I think the last time I checked, it's 85% of you aren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you don't realize how much that helps, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a hand. Now, the order that I'm going to be doing these in is in the Waddle Dee Blacksmith. I am going to be going left to right, and I'm not going to be doing myself any favors starting out because I'm going to be starting with Ranger, an ability I'm really, hot take, not that crazy about. Case in point, we start with the regular Ranger. I think this ability is okay. I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I don't really have too much to say on it. I think the novelty of Kirby having a gun is really cool, but I think it's really weak, and to get anything out of it, you gotta, like, charge it, and you're stuck, and you don't have gyro. I think having gyro controls would have made this really cool, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't mind it too much. At least when you charge it and you release it, you get this one big satisfying shot. You don't fire a bunch of shots, and you're stuck standing still, and it feels really bad. Oh, wait. That's Ranger 2. I hate it. I hate Ranger 2. I cannot stand Ranger 2. It feels so bad. It's not even stronger. It's just you fire more shots, so they deal more damage. And if it is stronger, it's like so barely stronger. It may as well not even count. I do not like Ranger 2. That being said, what might surprise people watching... Let me find it. I have the list already made, but I have to find the abilities that I'm talking about. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That sounds about right. Space Ranger, I actually think is pretty great. I really like this one. I like the aesthetic of it a lot. It goes back to Ranger 1 and how it isn't about firing a bunch of shots that feel really weak and bad. It's just this one big shot, but it does also kind of incorporate Ranger 2 stuff because the final fully charged shot does a bunch of hits, and it's this giant laser shot, and it looks really cool. And the normal shot, honestly, reminds me of Laser from Kirby's Adventure, Nightmare in Dreamland, Squeak Squad. Oh, excuse me. That stuff. So I am really happy with how Space Ranger turned out, just not the rest of the Rangers. I think they are remarkably underwhelming. Well, Ranger 1 is okay. I'll give it that. Speaking of okay, well, I guess it's a little bit better okay. We've got Hammer 1 next. I think it's good. I think it's good. I like the sound effects. The sound effects are really kind of what elevate it for me personally. I think they did a really good job with Hammer sound effects here. Just bopping things sounds really good. There is, of course, Hammer Super Jump that applies to all of the hammers, but it is something that only the Hammer line has going for it. I think that's really cool. Excuse me. I just think that there are upgrades to Hammer 1. I don't like all of Hammer's upgrades, but I like most of the upgrades. And I just think they kind of do enough to separate from Hammer 1. Then I get to Hammer 1 and I'm like, oh, it's not bad. This is good. But speaking of really heckin' good, Yes, Toy Hammer, that goes right up here. I love Toy Hammer, and I'm not just saying that because it is the best ability in the game for taking out the bosses, and I mean that. Single best ability in the game for taking out the bosses. I am including the spoiler ones in here. From what I understand, the basic trick of it is that Toy Hammer's Hammer Flip, the charge move, has 2 hitboxes on it, from what I understand. And they're both, like, the same damage. So you can actually just, like, one-shot literally everything with it. It's kind of crazy, and it has a faster charge than Wild Hammer. An ability that I will be frank with you here. Whoops, that didn't mess anything up, did it? I hope not. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up. But Wild Hammer, an ability, I will be frank with you, I don't like. I actually think it's pretty bad. We have one ability in every single one of the tiers, which I think is pretty funny to start out. But no, I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like that it's slower. It feels clunkier than Toy Hammer to me. I don't like the look of it nearly as much. I was very disappointed when I got to Wild Hammer. I get what they're going for. They're going for bonkers. But compared to the Toy Hammer, it's just not for me, I guess. I don't really like it. But speaking of an ability that is actually just okay, we can actually do these 2 back to back. We've got both of the crashes, Crash and Time Crash. I am not thrilled with either of them. Crash, it's what you've come to expect. I think Time Crash is at least... Oh, actually, I will swap. I will put Time Crash above. I think Time Crash is at least pretty cool because it has the potential to be interesting because you can hit enemies in order to make the Time Crash last longer. But I really think all that really amounts to is a really fascinating treasure road. I don't think it really ever winds up meaning anything valuable in the levels themselves, unfortunately. It's a shame because I do like Time Crash. I think it's really interesting, but just the fact that there's not really all that much that you can do with it, I don't know, it's not... I guess it's just another one that's not really for me. Up next, we have Fire One, and this is another one that I think is good. Just good, though. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm actually gonna put it underneath Hammer. You would think that we use Fire 1 for speedrunning a lot, but we actually upgraded to Volcano Fire almost right away. So there is a very little time to get attached to Fire 1 in the speedrun. And I think compared to Volcano Fire and Dragonfire, we'll be talking about both. Obviously, I would think that's obvious. But I think compared to those two, it is lacking. It doesn't have a lot of the strength that Volcano Fire has, but everything that it can do otherwise, Dragonfire can do as well. Dragonfire just has the lesser dash attack, but Volcano Fire has Fire's dash attack, so you kind of left hoping, like, oh, there's really nothing that Fire 1 has, but it's still Fire, and it's still really fun. I do like Fire. It's just Volcano Fire. Perhaps from overexposure. It's going up here, but spoiler warning, it is the bottom of this. I think this is just overexposure. I've used it so much in any percent, and unlike all of the other abilities that are currently used in any percent, with like one exception that I'll get into, you pretty much only used Fire in the original routing for any percent. You didn't use any other ability. So a lot of my playtime in the early days of KFL wound up being Volcano Fire. So I do have a bit of overexposure to it. That is a bit of an issue. But the ability itself is a lot of fun. The aesthetic is really cool. I love the idea of Volcano. Done much better here than in Kirby 64, I think. And it's strong. It does a lot of damage. You'd be really surprised. It's weaker than Dragonfire in terms of raw damage, but it's not bad. I would not discount it. As for Dragonfire, this might be a bit of a hot take. I do like it less. I kind of wish its dash attack wasn't worse. It goes farther, but because of the startup and that slowdown at the end, it actually winds up going less distance than Volcano Fire does. And I mean, I don't know, even talking, like, ignoring speedrunning and stuff, if I'm using Burning, I'm gonna want to mash that sucker. I want to do it Dark Matter trilogy style, or Kirby's Adventure, Nightmare in Dreamland, even the modern games like Return to Dreamland and Triple Deluxe, where you use Fire a lot. Well, I guess you use a lot in Planet Robobot too. All of them except for Star Allies, my point being. So having a burning that I can't just spam, right? It doesn't feel as good as just being able to mash the button and Kirby goes. You gotta wait, and then he goes, then he stops. But the aesthetic is absolutely wonderful. The purple flames are some of the best visuals that any copy ability has to offer. And it's strong. It's definitely stronger than Dragonfire is. Unfortunately, I said Dragon, I meant Volcano Fire. Unfortunately, this is what we're stuck with. It's good though, it's good. I like it a lot. I think it's really great. Just great though. Up next, we have Cutter 1. I'm going to put Cutter 1 right above Hammer. Cutter is a cool little ability. I don't have too much to say on Tier 1. Most of what I have to say has to do with Chakram and Buzzsaw. But Cutter 1 is still fun. There's just, like I said, not too much I can really add. Chakram Cutter, though. Ooh. I don't like Chakram Cutter. I don't like how the Chakrams control. I don't like when you toss it forward. There might be a way to tell if it'll go left or right, but what winds up working best for me, I just mash and hope. The Treasure Road for Chakram Cutter might be my least favorite because of this unpredictability. It is so annoying. It just, ugh. Do not like Chakram Cutter, but on the other hand, if we're looking at Buzzsaw Cutter, I like it a fair amount. I would say it's pretty great. Less than Dragonfire, but I would still say I like it a lot. Also, I just realized I put you a little bit too high. Let's move you down. But I do like Buzzsaw Cutter a lot. It definitely fixes my #1 issue with Chakram Cutter. And it has some very interesting bouncing properties that I really, really like. The Treasure Road for Buzzsaw Cutter. Ooh, really nice. And the damage on this one, if you throw the cutter blade out, let it charge, and then do Final Cutter when it comes back to you, the damage, really powerful. You can using that strategy, you can two-shot most of the bosses in the Coliseum. It's absurd. Absurd. But I like it. I like absurd abilities like this in Kirby. I feel like they're what we need, you know? Okay. Up next, we have Sword, and I don't hate it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Sword 1, my problem with Sword 1 is just that it's this sword problem that I always have. It's so basic, so vanilla and boring. It's like, all right, I've got Sword, what can I do? You know, the charge attack, the slashes, the slide jump. That's fine. None of them are particularly cool. They're okay. Like, eh. I will say, though, I do prefer the aesthetic to the Giant Edge Sword or Wild Edge Sword, but I do prefer this one just because of how much easier it slices through the bosses. It's very fast for doing it. It's not my preferred sword to use against them, even though I do acknowledge that it is probably the best. But the aesthetic doesn't do anything for me either. I love the Beast Pack-esque design that they gave to Frosty and Wild Edge, or Gigant Edge, I suppose. And Bonkers, like all of them. I really did. Oh, Frosty. That's the one I didn't mention. I really like how they beasted them, so to speak. But I do not really, for the most part, I do not like how that translated to Kirby. If that makes any sense, which I hope it does. It should. It should. Now, this was a surprise. I was not expecting when I first played this game to love Sword. But here we are, Mennonite Sword. Absolutely amazing. So satisfying. I love doing the slide jump. And then when you mash B, there's just a bunch of Kirby Mennonite clones that go crazy on the opponent. If you're at full health, the projectile beam that comes out of the sword does crazy good damage. It feels super satisfying to lock onto enemies, and it's not really all that hard to lock onto them either. And of course, you gotta be mentioning that the Mennonite mask just looks so cool. Mennonite's such a cool character, and having the Mennonite mask on Kirby, you even get those little wings in the back. They look great. I love the bats. Oh my god, when you do like the charge attack, the spin, not only do you move super fast, but you get those bats. It looks so cool. It is still Sword, and I'm never going to be thrilled with Sword, which is why it isn't, you know, among my favorites. You know, I do still prefer Toy Hammer to this one. You know, I love Hammer as an ability. Sword, I'm like, whatever on, but Mennonite Sword, amazing. I was really not expecting it, or I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I wound up liking it. Up next, we have Bomb 1, and I am one of the few, I feel like, that actually really likes Bomb in this game. Bomb 1 I put towards the bottom of great because it is just Bomb 1. There are upgrades that make it a lot cooler, but as it is, I like hurling bombs around, especially in 3D, with how fast Kirby throws them. When I first saw that in the trailer, in my analysis video of Trailer 2, I pointed out, holy heck, these bombs, they come out so quickly. Kirby has 0 chill when he's throwing these bombs. He throws them at a ridiculously high rate. But if we're going to be talking about the best bomb upgrade, Chain Bomb is so satisfying. I'm actually going to spoil this. I do not have Homing Bomb nearly as high. I have it in the grade. It's very... Oh, wait, no, that's Cutter. How did that happen? Wait, that's Cutter. Where did I put... Yeah, no. Cutter here. No, Cutter here. You go here. I don't know how that happened. Sorry. But I don't like Homing Bomb nearly as much. I think Homing Bomb is really cool, but if you want to set up really interesting setups with Bomb to, like, kill bosses with or whatever, Homing Bomb is going to be a lot harder because the bombs start to move. I think it's much easier to use. It's much more user-friendly, but Chain Bomb gets you so much cooler stuff. And to slightly give you, like, a very mild spoiler for once you beat the game, you can power up your weapons so that you can make it so Chain Bomb does the same amount of damage as Homing Bomb. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So you don't really have to worry about losing out on damage so long as you get the materials needed to upgrade. So what ultimately you end up with is Chain Bomb being this super cool idea that you can get so much out of, and Homing Bomb, which is very user-friendly and just insane and cool, and I love Bomb. I love Bomb so much, and I'm glad that it's still really, really good in this game. Up next, we have Tornado. Tornado fares a little bit better. I'm gonna put it right above for now, at least. Dragonfire. This is one that did not catch on in any percent right away, but now that it has, it's kind of taken it over by storm. Storm? Well, the joke will make sense in a little bit. Fire, I still think, is the overall better ability, and you basically use it, if maybe even longer than you use Tornado. But when you use Tornado in any percent, just the massive amounts of times that you save compared to any other ability, it's just nothing holds a candle to what Tornado can do. And it only places here, it's not so much overexposure, but I do think that the upgrades are generally better aesthetically. Case in point, Fleur Tornado is actually my favorite hat in the entire game. And because of that and how much fun Tornado is, I'm actually going to put it even above Toy Hammer. I love the hat. It's Tornado and it's really fun. I think it does slightly more damage than regular Tornado as well. Not as much as the next upgrade. But, you know, you use Tornado enough times and you get kind of peeved at how little damage it does. Fleur Tornado isn't like a huge upgrade, but it is still a noticeable one. An especially huge upgrade is Storm Tornado, and I don't know, I love the aesthetic on this one, but I'm just gonna put it like barely above Tornado. And the reason why it's only just above Tornado, despite the fact that I do like it a lot more, I do also, while I like it a lot more than Tornado, I simultaneously, visually, like it a lot less than Fleur Tornado. And the fact that I'm upgrading from Fleur Tornado and I like it that much less, yeah, it's a little iffy. But I do love Storm Tornado, especially when you get enough stars or enemies or whatever and you shoot them out in these bolts of lightning. Really cool. It's just that wasn't an idea I was expecting from Forgotten Land, and I just think, I don't know, I think it's really cool. I like it. Up next, oh, we have Drell. I actually really like Drell. I know most people tend to prefer Ranger over Drell, but I don't know, Drell's cool. I like it a lot. Let's see where I have it. I have it right above. Here we go again. I have it right above Cutter. I do prefer the upgrades, which is why Drell only goes there. But there's just so many cool, inventive stuff that you can do with Drell. Drill skip in Search the Oasis. That's gotta be... It is Search the Oasis, right? Yeah, it is. That's gotta just be one of my, like, personal favorite ones. It's so silly. I love it a lot. But otherwise, there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. I do wish these circles that you dug could be shorter while still getting max power, but... There's only so much that you can do, you know, you hope for stuff, and even if it doesn't happen, what are you gonna do? Pencil Drill, I must say, I love the idea of Pencil Drill. Like, Kirby having the pencil, and when you do attacks, like, the pencil shavings come out of it. I think that's super cute. Where did I put it? Let's see. There it is, right below Homing Bomb. Oh, where did it go? I don't know why this keeps happening. Where did it go? Where is... There it is. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know why this is happening, but fun of an unedited video. Yay. But I put pencil drill right there. Is this music really loud, or is it just me? All right, it's just me. Okay. But pencil drill I put right there. I already commented a lot of what I had to say about the pencil shavings and the just general coolness of drill. It's just so cute. I love the idea of the pencil. It's just adorable. I love it. But twin drill. Oh, you think drill is cool. Take drill, and now you have two. It does still have some of these shortcomings that drill has, so I'm only going to put it there. But I love how they were like, all right, listen, all right? We've got a drill. When we upgrade it, it's a pencil. Now we're going to go back to that first drill, but now you get two. And we're going to make it look slightly different. Like, it's very funny to me, but I do appreciate the damage boost that you get with it. I appreciate the attack when you do actually, like, hold the drill attack and you try to hit people, and the drills actually do come off. I think they hone in on enemies. That I'm not so sure about. But as it is, twin drill, I was kind of hoping that the fully upgraded drill might have done something about that circle that you have to draw. It could be smaller. If it does boost this up a couple of spots, I don't know. But I love it. I do love twin drill. You know, I do. It is among the amazing abilities, which, you know, you can see a lot of abilities that I've said a lot of good things about, including pencil drill, that aren't up there. So I still love it. Oh, but if we're gonna talk about abilities that like mean the world to me, we gotta talk about sleep. Sleep is like king of the crop when it comes to the great copy abilities. It heals you in this game, kind of like in Squeak Squad, and I really like that they gave it a purpose, but it's still like Squeak Squad, it's still sleep. You still have to, like, watch Kirby slowly doze off and snooze. You can't do anything. So it is still a meme ability. It will always be a meme ability, but it's my meme ability, and you know what? We're gonna talk about my singular favorite copy ability in the game. Just take the meme and meme it even harder. You sleep for longer, but if you can make it through the whole thing, while it still heals you, of course. But if you make it through the full thing, you have a random chance of getting either a speed boost, an attack boost, or double HP. And you can get all of them at once if you keep using Deep Sleep until you get all of them. They don't stack like they do when you buy them from the Waddle shop. At least I don't think they do. But, oh, it's just so funny. I didn't know what they were going to do with a sleep upgrade, but they're incredible. I don't remember right clicking, but whatever. They're incredible. They came up with this ingenious idea. I don't think I like it quite as much as the fully realized moveset that it got in Kirby Battle Royale, but this is the best compromise that we're gonna get. I understand that. I am okay with that. I love it. Ooh, so up next, I was so excited when I saw this ability was coming back in Forgotten Land. We have Needle. And Needle 1, honestly, is going pretty high. Needle 1, it's pretty weak compared to the upgrades, but I find it easier to abuse the dash attack. Because with Crystal, you always have that little jump after you use it, and I feel the same way with Cluster. But with the normal Needle, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like I can just do the dash attack, and then I can just keep going, right? So I feel like when I'm using a regular Needle, I'm actually moving at a faster pace than I am when I'm using Crystal or Cluster. Try saying that 10 times fast. But that doesn't mean that I don't like them, especially Cluster, that one being a nod to Kirby 64. I really appreciate that. It's still only really going there. Actually... no, I was gonna say I put it over Drell, but I did not. But I mean, like, I would probably, honestly, based on what I was saying before, put it here, and maybe even here. But the fact that it's a nod to Kirby 64, I can't. I have to put it here. I love these cool callbacks that you don't really need to know about them in order to understand why it's cool, but if you do, you're like, I get that nod. I get that reference. I was there for Kirby 64. I really like it. I like it a lot. But if we're going to talk about the real winner of Needle, I love Crystal Needle. It's gorgeous, first of all. The visual look of Crystal Needle, I love the colors. I love the shine. when you use it and you're rolling around the needles. It does such a good job of popping out at you. Like, you feel good when you use it. It's also really strong. I watch a lot of casuals use Crystal Needle, and I see how quickly, by the casual standard, that bosses get cleared out, and I'm like, huh, you know, like, at a casual level, yeah, Crystal Needle is absurdly good. It's got the curse of Needle, so it's outclassed. Needle can never not be outclassed. That's like the ironclad law, is that Needle has to be outclassed no matter what. But again, it's another one of those, you know, I'm impressed. I'm happy that Needle is good. I'm not happy that it's outclassed again, but I am happy that it is good. Now we have Ice. I'm looking for where... Oh, right. I actually forgot about this because of, there was a recent discovery with Ice and any percent that makes it a fantastic boss killer. So it actually, Ice, like, shot all the way up there. Oh, yeah, no, you know what? Looking at the list I made, I agree. No, it actually shoots its way all the way up there. I love Ice now. I wasn't that crazy about it at first, because I was just kind of thinking, wow, there's really nothing that you can do with Ice. And that's kind of sad, but no. Actually, there's a whole heckin' lot that you can do with Ice. In particular, it's really good at the boss killing. It's also, I love that you can skate on lava. I think that's precious. You can ice skate over water. I kind of call that in my ability prediction thingy-majig, a new moveset, or a new move for every ability that I never finished. Sorry about that. I was gonna say I'm gonna go out of order for this one, but I'm actually not. We're gonna upgrade. I'm gonna put this Frosty right there. I don't know, it's adorable, but it doesn't really do anything for me that regular Ice and Blizzard Ice don't do. It is really cute, but I don't know. I don't like the snowmen that come out. I don't like that as much as the Blizzard Ice equivalent, where you get, it reminds me of Battle Royale. When you would freeze the ground in Battle Royale, that's exactly what it reminds me of. And since I'm talking about Blizzard Ice and how much I love Battle Royale, there we go. That shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. You can power it up to make it absurdly strong. You get those little things little ice ickles that you can shoot out. Ice ickles. But you can shoot those out at bosses and enemies. They freeze a lot faster. I love those shards that come out of Kirby's mouth. They remind me of the crystal shards. And whenever I think of Kirby 64 and I'm not thinking of the gameplay, I get really, really happy. So the fact that it reminds me of Kirby 64 while still having all the perks of the other ices and honestly looking really good. I love the look of Blizzard Ice as well. Yeah, no, it's really nice. I like it a lot. Now, that is almost all of the abilities. There are 2 left to go over, but they are spoilers, so this is your last warning. I'm going to be moving them up right now. Okay, so here they are. Masked Day-to-Day Hammer and Morpho Knight Hammer. Day-to-Day you get after beating the main game, and Morpho Knight you get after beating the post-game. I myself actually wound up using... Oh, sorry. I was looking at my OBS, and something looked wrong, but we're actually good, so. Anyway, I myself used the Morpho Knight to cheese Ultimate Cup Z on my first go-round. And, you know, I hear all the time people talk about how good the Morpho sword is, and yeah, it's cool. It has a lot going for it. It's not that great. It's actually, like, it's strong. It's still one of the best abilities, but, you know, for something you get that late into the game, it's degenerate. It's more so better for how easy it is to cheese with it than it is for actually being good. A lot of the perks that it has aren't that great. I would much rather have something like Hammer that just takes bosses out really quickly, or Ice where, like, yeah, it's hard, but, you know, it's consistent, and when you freeze bosses, it's just like, that's it. Or even something like, what was the other one? I just had another one in my mind. I can't think of it, but there were a lot of abilities that I'd still rather have over Sword for the ultimate choice. There's just too... It's not for me. It's not for me. What is for me, though, and my day-to-day bias should be shining through pretty hard right now, is the Masked Hammer. I cannot call it... No. I cannot call it my favorite ability in the game. That still has to go to Deep Sleep, but Masked Hammer is a very close second. It is technically technically weaker than Toy Hammer, but I don't really care. It's just so much fun. I love, 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 love using Masked Hammer. It just so easily eviscerates bosses. Toy Hammer, I think there's like spacing that you need to worry about and stuff you actually have to think. And that's another thing with Morpho Sword right here. It's like, oh, well, I don't have to think when I use it. I did like 4 runs of Ultimate Cup Z in under a half hour with Masked Hammer, and I used like 1 collective brain cell. You don't have to think with this one. You really don't. It's so absurdly powerful. But that will do it. That is my Kirby in the Forgotten Land ability tier list. I understand there are some hot takes here. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you again. And I will see you in the next video. I'll let the music play out for a little bit before I wrap up. Although I don't really like this track, but I'll just let it play for a while so I can let the end card play and all that will be cool. So until I see you again, bye! I just realized it was 77 unranked.